Hi everyone! I just finished filming the video you're about to watch, and I was watching back some of the footage, and while I was filming, halfway through I was filming, I got up to change the battery, and didn't you know it, my camera went out of focus. So for half of the video, I am out of focus. So if that's something that's going to be distracting to you, I'm letting you know now, so you can click off now. But if not, I hope you enjoy the video, or you can just listen to it. But I am out of focus for half of it. But I also am too lazy to refilm it because I was trying to be authentic and, yeah, okay. Anyways, I'm talking too much. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, hi! Didn't see you there. Welcome back to my channel.
Okay, can't sit like a lady the whole time. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassidy and I like to talk about pop culture and movies and all things nerdy. Now I don't have a script today. Instead, I just wanted to talk about my raw feelings on the season finale of WandaVision. Did I spend the last 24 hours crying over WandaVision? Yes. But that's what this video is for. It's like therapy. I get to talk it out and express my feelings. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not going to watch WandaVision when it first came out. I was experiencing what I would like to call superhero fatigue. I have been a big fan of superhero movies for a really long time, but after Avengers Endgame, I found myself not really craving the superhero movie genre anymore. I felt like everything was really wrapped up very nicely. I felt like my favorite characters all had their story come to a conclusion, and I didn't have a strong desire to watch any of the new superhero movies like I used to. I did go see Spider-Man Far From Home because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero ever, and I don't think that will ever change, and I really liked that one. But everything else and all the new TV shows Marvel was talking about coming out, I just wasn't interested in. Not that I didn't think they would be good, I felt like I had experienced the genre to its fullest, and I didn't think there was really anything new that Marvel could offer me that I hadn't already experienced. So when WandaVision came out, I wasn't that interested. I like Wanda, I like Vision, but I didn't have any real reason to watch a show where they go on adventures, or at least that's what I thought it was. But I had a friend, hi Annie, that told me I should watch the show and that she was really enjoying it. And there were already 3 episodes out by the time I started watching it. But I decided to give it a shot, and I am really, really glad I did. So WandaVision was really interesting because it just didn't fit that generic superhero formula, a formula that I have loved for so long and was a really big fan of. WandaVision is like the perfect show for people who are tired of superhero shows. First of all, the quality is amazing. You'll feel like you're watching a movie. It doesn't have that cheap factor that I think a lot of DC and Marvel superhero shows have had. There's just like a feeling of cheapness about them. Even if they're good, they feel like a TV show. This one feels like a movie cut into several different parts. What I did expect was something so aesthetically pleasing, so nostalgic, and something that really makes you think about grief and trauma. Didn't expect that out of my Marvel television show. So if you haven't seen WandaVision before, basically what it's about is Wanda and Vision are living in this TV show, and every week it changes to a different type of TV show. So it starts out in the 50s, then they go to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, blah, 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 blah. And while this is all happening, a story about how they got to be in this TV show is unfolding. And there's obviously going to be some spoilers in this video because I'm talking about the finale. You come to find out that Wanda created this show stemming from her grief, and this was her way of coping with it, and that Vision isn't really there, and neither are her children that she later has. She makes them with her magic, because we also later find out she is the Scarlet Witch. She's like the most powerful witch ever created. She's a witch of chaos. So she basically creates this family, and she creates this town to live the life she never got to live, to cope with everything. And right away I was really, really interested by this because Wanda is the villain for a big part of the show. She's holding this town captive. And even though we love Wanda and we love the Scarlet Witch, she really is kind of a villain for most of the show. we empathize with her, and yet she is kind of puppeteering an entire town who are in pain, who can't see their family members. From a different perspective, that's definitely the role of the bad guy. So in the season finale, we have Wanda fighting another witch who's basically been messing with her town. And we have Vision fighting another Vision because the government took Vision's old body from the end of Endgame and transformed him into this kind of supercomputer weapon and send him in to fight imaginary Vision. It's messy, you gotta watch the show. So anyways, there's this big final battle kind of between Wanda, Vision, this bad witch Agatha, and other Vision and the US government. There's a lot going on, but something really interesting happens in this final battle when like good Vision is fighting bad Vision. They discuss the ship of Theseus, in which I'm gonna read it. It is supposed that a famous ship sailed by the hero Theseus in a great battle was kept in a harbor as a museum piece. And as the years went by, some of the wooden parts began to rot and were replaced by new ones. Then, after a century or so, every part had been replaced. The question then is whether the restored ship is the same object as the original. If it was, then suppose the removed pieces were stored in a warehouse, and after a century, technology was developed that cured their rot and enabled them to be reassembled into a ship. Is this reconstructed ship the original ship? If it is, then how about the restored ship in the harbor still being the original ship as well? And basically, that's Vision talking about which one of us is the real Vision, and they kind of come to the conclusion that they're both the real Vision. But what's really interesting about this whole ship of Theseus idea is that it applies to the whole show. Especially when you think about who is the villain. Like I said, I think Wanda kind of is the villain for most of the show, even though we love her. She's also not the villain at the same time. Or the conclusion these original two versions of Vision, wow, that was a tongue twister, come to is that neither one of them is the original Vision, and yet they are both Vision. And I think that that applies to the whole show. Wanda is simultaneously the villain of the show and the hero of the show, just as Vision and New Vision are both Vision and not Vision at the same time. And this is something so interesting that I don't think we've seen in a Marvel show before. I love Marvel movies, I love Marvel TV, but we know what the formula is. We know we love a good villain. The good guys are always good, the bad guys are always bad. And this is the first show that kind of muddles it together and says what is good and what is bad, who is right and who is wrong here. And it's a Marvel show that doesn't necessarily have a happy ending because Wanda doesn't get to stay in the town with her new made-up family and her new made-up children. She has to leave. She has to face the consequences of her actions, and she has to move on. And I don't know, I just wanted to share my thoughts on it because I just think it's so interesting. It's interesting that there was a superhero show that didn't involve a fight every episode with some villain. Really, the show's narrative was heavily weighed on dealing with grief and how we project that onto others around us. And that is not what I was expecting in a Marvel TV show. Was I looking for Doctor Strange to show up the entire episode because I know that he and Wanda are gonna probably team up in Multiverse of Madness? Yes, I was, but I think it's really good that they didn't have Doctor Strange show up. They kept the show as its own thing. I'm just here to tell you that if you're looking for something new and fresh to watch and you used to like superhero shows but you kind of experienced superhero fatigue, WandaVision is the perfect show for you. It's just really interesting and complex, and it made me really reflect on the way I deal with trauma or sadness in my own life. And I also didn't expect that from a Marvel show. Oh, can we also talk about how the show had this lesson of learning to let things go and to move on? Gosh, I cried. I honestly never thought I was going to get back on this channel and talk about superhero media because I just didn't think it was something I was going to be interested in anymore. I didn't think there was going to be a show or a movie that interested me the way in a way that the older movies did. But this really captivated me and showed me that there is a whole realm that can be explored for superhero movies. There are more ways that superhero media can be done, and that I thought, even though I thought it was a dying genre, it's not dead yet. There's a lot that can still be done with it, and I'm really excited to see where things go. So tell me what your thoughts were. Sorry it was incoherent, but I just wanted to kind of spit out some of my thoughts after watching the finale. So that's that. I think I'll probably be talking about more superhero media in the future because I'm excited about it again. And if it has anything to do with Spider-Man, I will definitely be talking about it. So thanks for watching, everyone.